Welcome to Google Ads Unleashed, the podcast that helps you harness the power of Google Ads. And now your host, Jeremy Young.
Hello and welcome back, guys, to Google Ads Unleashed. Happy New Year. This is the first one that I'm actually recording in the new year, but you would have had one episode already coming out with our beloved guest, John Moran, who absolutely blew my mind. It was an amazing episode, and if you haven't actually had a chance to listen to it yet, I would highly encourage you to go back and listen to it, and or to head to Spotify and or YouTube to watch the video that goes with it, because there's a lot of visual elements in there. But before doing this recap, I actually want to, in this episode, put my vision forward, because this has been a very popular trend on all social media. All the PPC experts were sort of sharing their views for the future, for the coming year. And I looked at it all, and of course I've got my own opinion. And this episode is really just a quick one about what I think is going to happen in 2025, which will help you prepare your business for what is going to come. And I'm just going to dive right in. So I think the first prediction is one which is something that I sort of practice and preach anyway all the time, and that is that the basics are going to continue to win. You will not believe how many people come to me with ad account problems, 7-figure business owners, 8-figure business owners, and I open up their Google Ads account and I see stuff like duplicate conversion tracking, I see stuff like unoptimized feeds, etc., etc. These businesses won on other channels and are used in Google just as a sort of supplementary channel, or sort of as a channel to pick up some bottom funnel conversions. They also oftentimes are 7 or 8 figure businesses because they've come up with a product or with a new twist or angle to a product, which in turn has actually generated, the product is so good that the marketing can be crap, if that makes sense. For those businesses, for you who starts out, for you who's already extremely advanced, the basics are going to continue to win. All right, so crystal clear conversion tracking, being good with your first party data, optimizing your feeds, doing the basics, or excluding negative keywords, making sure your media buying solid, making sure your strategy aligns up with what the goal of your client is, etc., etc., etc. Right? Doing that and repeating it will win in 2025. It'll win in 2026. It'll still win in 2030. Right? So, well, what I'm trying to say with that is any sort of shiny object that you might find, that you might see, that may crop up somewhere else, maybe even a shiny object that I want to talk about on this podcast, because I want to highlight absolutely everything about Google Ads. Don't follow it. It is literally as simple as that, okay? Just keep your head down and dive into the basics. Then my next prediction is YouTube and demand gen usage will dramatically increase. I think I've been talking a lot about YouTube and demand gen on here in the past half a year, and for good reason. And I think in the new year, it's going to become even more important. I think brands who, besides the basics, will not capitalize on using Google's push marketing elements, i.e. demand gen and YouTube, will actually fall short and will actually start to feel the burn from their other push marketing channels more and more, and the pressure that is coming from there. And the thing is, I'm a massive fan of YouTube, right? If you do any sort of incrementality calculations, or if you use any third-party tracking tool, such as Triple Whale, such as Kickbite or Northbeam, God knows what, you will always see that once you run YouTube ads, especially even if you just repurpose your existing creatives from Meta for YouTube Shorts, you will see a positive uplift in revenue, and you will also see a positive uplift in your post-purchase surveys from YouTube. So it's a really, really strong channel, and I think a lot more people will wake up to it and a lot more people will use it, and the same goes for demand gen as well. I also think that YouTube Shorts as a specific placement will come. I mean, you can already do it as a specific placement with demand gen. Maybe it might be simply amalgamized. There's been chat anyway to that YouTube action campaigns are going to be amalgamized with demand gen. I think that's definitely going to happen. I think my third prediction will be that phrase match may be going away, or that Google will announce that it's going to go away. I think Google wants to go to a keywordless future anyway. We're a few years away from that, I think, just because I think they may be shooting themselves in the knee just yet if they would announce that. The reason is, if you think about a keywordless future, what does this mean for the targeting, right? So in essence, the only sort of three things that you have then to target people are the content of your website. So you have to be technically and content-wise really, really good with your website, right, in order to drive the right traffic. Many websites are just not really SEO ready. Google can't just implement that yet, and I don't think the entire internet is at a stage where Google can just do that just yet. I mean, to a certain extent, they're already dipping into this, for instance, with Broadmatch. As many people know, Broadmatch doesn't only take into account the user signals and what is actually searched for, but also what the content of the landing page is, right? So I think it's going to go towards there, but it's just not ready yet with that. The second thing is that I think Google still struggles a little bit with users adopting first-party data, right? So it's not going to happen just yet. And I think there's still a place for phrase match. I think there's still a place 100% for exact match. So it's not going to go away just yet, but I think Google may announce a phrase match will go away, and we will see a future of exact and broad match to start, and then of course it go into keywordless further down the line. I think my fourth prediction will be that profit-based bidding will come, and customer lifetime bidding. Okay, so I'm a bit critical with those. So I'm a massive fan of tools such as Profit Metrics, and I'll tell you why in a second. But what Google, of course, wants, Google has realized that a lot of advertisers of course, make a lot of money with Google, and the more money you make with Google Ads, of course, they want a bigger share of that pie. Why? Because if you as an advertiser make a lot of money for someone, of course Google wants to increase their revenue, and they have to do that through increase in CPC prices. First of all, they do that, or they have done, demonstrably over the years by not only admitting to fiddle with CPCs, but that's why I said the John Moran episode. John has actually showed on many instances and is convinced that if you tell Google the conversion value of your conversion, it actually inflates CPCs accordingly. And I mean, we even see that on brand searches, right? Brand shopping, brand search. If you use max conversions or max conversion value and leave it to Google, naturally it'll inflate CPCs massively on them search terms, which makes Google more money and not you. I will, by the way, get the curveball to profit-based bidding, so hear me out. So that was the first step, to introduce accurate conversion tracking to get as much conversion value so that Google knows, hey, if they are okay with a ROAS of 2, well, I can charge exactly that amount of money for them to achieve that ROAS. Now, if you introduce profit into this sort of calculation, you may even exacerbate this effect. So if Google can see exactly, let's say you introduce COGS and everything into your feed and use profit-based bidding, what will happen is that Google will understand, oh, I can actually now charge X, Y, and Z to inflate CPC prices even more. So it will come, just because I am 100% convinced that Google wants to earn more money from us advertisers, and this will be a wolf in a sheep's skin, in my opinion, which is why I think third-party tools such as Profit Metrics are still the ones which you should be using if you want to do profit-based bidding, just because you're not giving Google the reins on what kind of data, so they don't know sort of that kind of data about your business, but rather you just inject a conversion value externally through an external source such as Profit Metrics, and base your bidding strategies around that. That's really high level, but basically that's what I'm predicting is going to happen. Maybe you have to re-listen to this, but in short, Google is going to move to profit-based bidding by learning more about your business and knowing more how much it can charge you, so Google will become more expensive as a result. The same goes for customer lifetime value. So Google's already starting this, I believe, but you will be able to bid based on your customer lifetime value. Now think about this. Let's say, for instance, so far, like for instance, we look after a coffee brand, right, where we know the customer lifetime value is about 120 euros. So there we think of a target CPA, a break-even target CPA of about let's say 30 euros or something like that, just as an example. And we know, hey, we're going to break even on the first order, but order 2, 3, and 4, that's where we're going to make profit. If we start injecting this data into Google, of course, Google will know, holy shit, we could charge a CPA of 60 euros or 50 euros or something like that and make a lot more money, because these guys are going to be okay with the customer lifetime value anyway, right? So I am that cynical in some respects that this is likely going to happen. They may even start forcing it on people, but that'll be 2026 or 27. So yeah, first, basics will win. Second, rise of demand gen YouTube will increase in importance. Third, phrase match. Fourth, profit-based bidding. Number 5, measuring success in e-commerce or generally in business will actually regress. What do I mean by that? I think over the last years, over the last 2, it's sort of come back already, but in the previous years, because measuring was relatively accurate, if you like, with no iOS 14 restrictions, etc., pre-GDPR and so on, a lot of people were really obsessed with on-platform data, right? Sort of trying to optimize the on-platform data as much as possible. There's been a big shift in the past years, generally speaking, back to the basics, how advertising used to be done. Because if you think about it, I don't know if you sometimes sort of consider this, but if you think back in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, people didn't have any attribution or very, very little attribution. So what did you do? You, of course, whipped up good advertising with the basics of advertising, right? Sort of understanding your target audience, understanding your value proposition, etc. And all you did is you defined, okay, this year we're going to be spending that portion of our turnover on ads, and let's see what happens. And businesses grew. And to a certain extent, this will happen again, right? And it is happening to a certain extent. So, well, to a certain extent, with all the successful businesses that we work with, right? You define an MER, that is, so marketing efficiency ratio, that is good for your business's growth and profit. And then based on that is what you define the channel spendings, right? And benchmark those spendings and spend, right? So sometimes that's why what I said on platform, it doesn't actually matter sometimes what the metrics are. If you look at, for instance, YouTube, the on-platform metrics can be rubbish sometimes. However, if you then look at sort of what value it really brings to the business by looking at MER, just looking at new customer CPA, by looking at post-purchase survey data and understanding how YouTube is impacting sort of your entire business, well, then you will understand that in-platform data will become more and more meaningless, right? So generally speaking, I think successful advertisers will turn back to the basics, and unsuccessful advertisers will continue relying on in-platform data, which will become more and more meaningless over time. Then my prediction this was number 5, I think. Number 6 will be first-party data will increase in importance yet again. I mean, it's already been massively important in the past few years, but first-party data, customer match, custom segments will be extremely important to strengthen bidding against loss of cookies, right? So this will continue to be an important issue that advertisers will need to tackle. And this is just a short one because I don't want to really expand too much on that, but because it's just going to be a fact. And then lastly, my last prediction really is one which is kind of obvious. My 7th prediction is AI. Those who will embrace it will, those who won't embrace it will lose out. So whether that is in research of your target personas, whether that's in creating ads, whether that's in making creatives, right? Sort of creative iterations even. Some people, some businesses, some agencies will be using it to their advantage. I'll be honest, I am not 100% yet sort of sure how it will play in, but I'm thinking at the rate of acceleration of how AI tools have popped up, I am absolutely certain that there will be ones popping up very, very soon which are going to inform your Google Ads strategies. Like I said, a few already are obvious. You can use ChatGPT to analyze big data, for instance, from competitors to understand what their weaknesses are and base your ad copy around that. You can already you can get ChatGPT to make an ideal ICP based on your description of your business and your website, etc. And then based on that, you can let it spit out 10 to 15 headlines that talk exactly about the pain points, right? You can do all these things with a matter of 10 seconds, 15 seconds, which used to take hours, right? You can use image AI to create iterations for your demand gen campaigns by more or less by itself. And maybe even with generative AI with video further down the line, we may be even using that, right, to create UGC videos and so on. So I think there's going to be a lot coming, which will be super, super interesting. And I think those who will not embrace all of the features that are yet to come are going to go under. And if any of this has been interesting or helpful, then please let me know. You can message me anytime on LinkedIn. It's Jeremy on Google Ads. You can find me there, or you can send me an email at jeremy@younganddigital.marketing. You can also visit the website and book a one-to-one coaching with me, or a one-to-one 30-minute session where we can talk about your business. Unfortunately, I've got some bad news for all of you. The last coaching spot has been taken. Just this morning, I had a confirmation of the last person going on coaching in Q1. So there is nothing left now until the mid-end of March. Sorry for everyone who's missed out, but these are filled up quite quickly. So hopefully you can sort of put that in your calendar ready to make an inquiry towards the second half or the second quarter of the year. This has been Jeremy Young, your personal Google Ads expert, and I wish you a successful and happy week ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Google Ads Unleashed. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating and a review. For more information or to connect with Jeremy, check him out online at www.younganddigital.marketing. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.